This week, Inside Sim Racing is brought to you by Ricmotech. Are you considering a Thrustmaster product? If so, you should consider Ricmotech. They are an authorized Thrustmaster dealer. They take support to the next level and offer optional firmware updates, product testing, and support, all free of charge, and will ship worldwide. Check them out at ricmotech.com.
Welcome to This Week Inside Sim Racing, January 20th, 2016 edition. I'm John Sable alongside Darren Ganji, and another great show this week. Plenty of news items and some special things happening after today's show.
Yes.
So we'll get to that all soon. First up, we'd appreciate a like, thumbs up, whatever it is. That helps us out a lot. And well, I'll say let's roll right into it.
Yeah, why don't we tell them what's on today's show?
Okay. What? I want to just get going. So
You're the one that came up with that idea.
I know. I don't know how I feel about it anymore. But okay, so on today's show, we have a new poll question. We're going to kind of start at the top of the show so you guys can get in and vote and kind of see what happens there. News items, Raceroom Classic IMSA content. Derek Spear Design has a sim racing chassis. New car from UnitedRacingDesign. More Project Cars Stanceworks preview. That's their latest DLC coming out next week. Assetto Corsa. Big announcement today. They have a release date for the console. So we're going to talk about that. And also they had a pretty cool video that came out yesterday. So
it was really cool.
So I kind of wanted to show that and talk about that a little bit. We're going to have a tech tip about the Nvidia control panel. And also going to talk about what we've been working on here, including getting prepared for the 24 hours of Daytona running on iRacing this weekend. And we're going to do something special, what you guys have all been asking for, and have a practice session at the end of the show. So we'll have a password, and we have a room set up. And
well, we can talk about that right now.
Sure.
So yeah, we're not going to race, but I've set up I think a 6-hour practice session starting in about an hour from now. So here on the West Coast, it's 1 p.m. So at 2 p.m., the server will launch. And so you go into hosted on iRacing, look for ISR TV 24 practice. Is that what I named it? Let me double check this real quick.
Well, that's
ISR TV 24 practice.
Okay, and that's also if iRacing.
Yeah, iRacing has been up and down today, so we're hoping it's back up for this. Password's going to be isrtv.com. So at the end of the show, we'll remind you guys, or for those of you, or for anybody that comes in later. But we'd love for you guys to join us. So we've got the Corvette C7, all 4 of the GT3 cars, and we're just going to be running practice. So we've been practicing all week, so we'd love for you guys to join us. We'll have our headsets chat going in-game. So anyway, we'd love for you guys to join us for that. And did we get through everything on today's show?
We did get through everything.
On today's show.
You made me go through the list. So let's lead into the contest that kicked off last week.
Yeah, so we have if you missed us last week, and if you haven't been in our forums or Facebook, we've got a contest where you can win a Thrustmaster TX Leather Edition. And you have to answer 3 questions. Matter of fact, there's a link to, I believe, the forum thread here in the description of the show, which will take you to these questions. And then you send your answer to, actually, we'll tell you that in a minute. So question number 1, Thrustmaster has 5 force feedback racing wheels that work on the PS3, PS4, and I incorrectly worded this. It should be or Xbox One.
Oh, yeah.
So Thrustmaster doesn't make a product that works on all of those systems. Actually, I should have added PC to that too. So anyway, name at least 3 of the Thrustmaster force feedback current generation wheels. That kind of defines it a little bit better.
Yep.
Question number 2, what is the car make and model that won the GTE AM division in the 2015 24-hour Le Mans? I got to say, guys, a lot of you guys have been, not a lot, but there's been at least 10% of you guys that are getting question number 2 wrong. So do a little research. I mean, I Googled it. So look under 2015 Le Mans final standings for the GTE AM class and tell us what that winning car is. And then question number 3 is, name at least one racing title on the Xbox One that is compatible with the Thrustmaster TX. So deadline for entry is January 31st, 2016. The person that has answered all three questions correctly will be chosen at random and notified via email and announced on the February 3rd edition of This Week Inside Sim Racing. So tune in live here on the show to see if you won this awesome package. To enter, you gotta email us at contest@InsideSimRacing.tv. That's where all our entries are. We've got over 500 entries so far, so you got good chances. The odds of winning are pretty good.
Yep.
Oh, so what we're going to do, too, is we're going to basically pull up that email account, that contest at. We're going to randomize. We're going to do like there's a number generator that I've seen online that we can use, and we'll basically punch in, a random number. So let's say there's 1,000 entries. Mm-hmm. We'll punch in a random number, go to that particular entry on the email list, and see if that person won.
Yep.
We'll do it right here live on the show. And then I'll email that person directly to get their information and alert them that they've won this great racing wheel package.
They've won a major award.
Yes. So you posted a new poll.
Yes.
Today.
New poll question. Let me pull it up here. Oh, that's not it. There it is. And the question is, are you all in on VR? That is virtual reality. We had a lot of talk about it a couple weeks ago, and I think there was even more talk last week. And our forums have been really active talking about VR with the announcement of the Oculus consumer version. So that's our poll question. Wanted to kind of bring it up here at the beginning so you guys can see it and go ahead and vote. We have a link in the description, or you can just go to our forums, and it's actually pinned as an announcement. And that's either in the top right-hand corner of the homepage, or maybe it's on the side.
Of the forums.
Of the forums, yes. And then if you go into any forum at all, it's pinned at the top under announcement. Same with the TX announcement.
Yeah, so jump on over there really quick. Again, there's a link here in the description. Jump on over there real quick. Just log into our forums, vote, because we'd like to see, what you guys think about VR. I've already voted. I'll tell you guys my vote at the end of the show. And you guys may know my vote based on my DK2 first look and impressions. So anyway, yeah, we'd love to hear what you guys have to say or how you vote in that poll.
Yep.
So Raceroom showed off some new classic content.
Yeah, they're kind of dipping back into the old IMSA cars, which you love.
Yeah, and I love how you posted in our in our forums.
I'm glad you read it.
In our blog about Darren's glory days and how this is anything that's over 20 years old is considered classic content.
It's
true. Or it's considered a classic car.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I love that series. I mean, this was one of my, growing up, I was younger than you at the time when this series was running. In high school and then out of high school, I went to some of these races. I saw these guys at Riverside. I saw them at Del Mar, which was where the finale was. I don't know if it was the GTO class or was the SCCA Trans Am class ran at Long Beach as well, which were very similar cars to these. But I'm really looking forward to these cars coming out. And they've already released the Audi 90 Quattro GTO car. So that's going to be a nice mix. And that's not the Audi Quattro.
No, that's not an IMSA car. That's the VLN car they're coming out with, too.
Okay. But love these old cars. And now here's a little trivia for you. I don't know if you knew this. Did you see it in the script? Do you know somebody famous that drove, it's not known as a race car driver, that drove that Mustang?
Oh, I do. It was Jenner.
Yep.
Drove it.
Bruce Jenner. Let's see if we got an image. I don't think it was one. He may have driven one of those. I know for sure he drove the 7-Eleven sponsored, that one, the Citgo.
Citgo, yeah.
Team Roush. So Bruce Jenner, now known as Caitlyn Jenner.
Yes.
Drove that car, and I looked up his stats. He ran 56 races and teamed up with some great old drivers. Dorsey Schrader, who's the guy that
Pruitt.
Scott Pruitt.
Scott Pruitt drove it, which
yep.
Yeah, Scott Pruitt. I mean, I knew him more as in the IndyCar kart series in the 90s, but obviously he's gone on to have a fantastic sports car career. So, yep. Lots of already blocked.
Oh, you did good.
Yeah.
You know, we got to make sure we don't log in with our account.
Oh yeah, I know.
So
what
they
you're
won't see
saying.
blocked content.
Good idea.
Anyway, we apologize for the idiots showing up in chat. So anyway, yeah, anyway, little trivia for you guys. Bruce Jenner was a race car driver. 56 starts. He actually won a race. I'm not sure if it was where he shared the car, was a co-driver.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. To not only do be track and field and then go and race car driver,
and then turn into a woman.
Turn into a woman. You can do anything.
Yeah, sure can. So anyway, yeah, I'm looking forward to that content coming out. Those cars hold a special place in my heart.
Yep. No, they're very cool looking. So, on to more news, and next up is a chassis from DSD Design, which, DSD's primarily known for button boxes, and then they came out with some pedals back almost 2 years ago now, and now looking at doing a chassis.
Yeah, and I'd say there's some, we haven't tried it yet, obviously. I wonder if he's going to send us one. Be interested to see if he wants us to review it. But, so it's going to be thick wall steel tubing. This is the raw version of it. So this is basically looks like it just came from the welding shop.
Yes.
Fab shop. And, but he's going to offer various powder coating colors. Fully adjustable. Now, he says fully adjustable, but I'm not seeing that much adjustability like at the wheel deck, for instance. But again, we haven't tried it, so.
Yeah.
He's saying it's sturdy, does not shake, rattle, or roll, uses many types of wheels, shifters, and pedals, hand-built in America, lifetime warranty. And pricing to be determined, and he says it won't be cheap. So what do you think this thing is going to retail for?
Oh, man. I would say that I can see this going for up towards 1,000, if I had to guess.
I would guess at least 1,000.
Saying that, built in the USA, where a lot of chassis do come out of China, and just the amount of bends and welding and the weight, the shipping cost alone is going to be a lot.
It's not going to be cheap.
That's part of the reason why I think it's staying in the US.
We just sent one of our old chassis to a friend of mine, and we talked about him on the show here, Scott. And I only sent it to Arizona, and it was in 2 boxes, the seat and the chassis. And it's not, I'll tell you right now, it's not going to be as heavy as this thing.
No.
$167 it cost me to ship it to Scott in basically just a couple states over. So it wasn't that far of a transit. So as far as the adjustability, if you guys look at this pedal deck, I'm thinking it's going to need, in my opinion, need more adjustability as far as the rate goes on those pedals. Because that looks like it may work great for his pedals, the DSD pedals, but I'm not so sure on like Fanatic pedals or Thrustmaster or Logitech. I would think you would need more rake. Because most of the rigs we have right now have more rake, and we're using those types of pedals. So.
Yeah, and I'm also kind of curious. It's kind of like a telescoping pedal with just a knob, and if it isn't picking up a hole, then you're going to push down. If you push down on a hard pedal, I wonder if it's going to slide forward. So that and the gear shifter over there on the right is welded, which I think at some point that needs to not be welded in case you want to
move
it around.
Is initially going to...
in U.S. only.
U.S. only, exactly, and then Canada, so we're...
But you gotta have some adjustability in the shifter.
I agree.
Because, like, I've
well, me and you.
Yeah, big difference.
Yeah, so, yeah, because depending on where we sit, that shifter may not be in the proper position, so...
Yeah.
Anyway, it's going to be interesting to see how much this thing will be and what it looks like when it's all powder-coated and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And he's also not ruling out international distribution. So.
Yep, that, and he's also talked about maybe making some adjustments to what you currently see there, based off some feedback, as far as like maybe having a mounting point for a button box.
Yeah,
that would be nice.
Keyboard,
yeah, really gotta have a keyboard. There's been a few chassis out there that have come out with keyboardless chassis, and it's always kind of like gotta be able to put it somewhere.
Speaking of chassis, we don't got any pictures of it, but I've heard from Track Racer. They're I think they're out of Australia, and they started distribution here in the States. Look how many people we got watching.
I know.
We're coming up on 300.
We're doing well.
Yeah. John and I were talking about that before the show. Sorry for switching subjects there, but anyway, we're getting a Track Racer chassis here in the next couple weeks. He just actually emailed me today saying that we're going to be getting it soon.
Perfect. We'll fit it somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. You know what else? Next week I want to try to have a camera so we can pan and show you guys what's going on behind the camera. Again, we've talked about it. We've got 5 sim rigs in here. Kind of cool to show you guys. So anyway, next up. Why don't you take the next one?
Next up, we talked about UnitedRacingDesign, and they're developing continuous work on the PX1 mod, payware, you might call it, for Assetto Corsa and R-Factor 2. And they had a preview of their Darsche PX1, which, if you're familiar with international sports car racing, that's a Porsche 919 LMP1.
Interesting that they called it Darsche.
Darsche, yeah, they came close to Porsche. I'm sorry, I didn't say it right. Porsche. And
well, it's only 2 letters off. Replace the DA with the PO.
Yeah, exactly. So this car is now released, and this is the PX1 is still, I guess, in beta testing. And the idea is that they're going to pretty much have all the LMP1 cars from either last year or a combination 2014, 2015. And this joins the only other car, which is the Revolution, which Revolution is the actual name of the car. I forgot what their knockoff name is. But yeah, so now they have 2 LMP1 cars, and that PX1 pack goes for €9.90, 9.90, or about $11 here in the U.S. And I think it's at a discounted price right now.
Well, it's available for Assetto Corsa and R-Factor 2.
Exactly.
The price difference between the two, which is kind of weird, I think it's like €9.90 on Assetto, and I could be wrong on either one, but it's like $9.90 or $9.80 for the Assetto Corsa version. Oh. I don't know why the difference in price there. Curious what you guys think about payware. So charging for mods.
Yes.
I think it's a slippery slope because of licensing.
Yes. Especially
when that's a Porsche called a Darsche. So I think as long as it's quality content, and obviously we'll be able to tell, if we're after driving it and stuff. But I think it's a good thing because these modders put a lot of work into their content, and it'd be nice if they get a little bit back.
Yeah. No, I'm kind of with you there. I think originally when there was a lot of like kind of the payware stuff kind of came out, that's kind of like it kind of became big in R-Factor 1 days. I feel like.
I wouldn't say big.
A little bit big, but it happened.
Yes.
It happened and became more of a topic of discussion.
Yes.
And yeah, I mean, I think initially I was like, oh yeah, this is a mod. This shouldn't cost anything.
Seeing that we're having mic problems.
My mic's still on.
Mine is too. Test. Someone's mic is crazy. See if check yours, make sure it's not flickering out. Is the light on?
Yep, light's on.
John's mic, it seems, now it's dead. John's mic is off.
Okay, well...
that battery.
Must be the battery.
All right, John, why don't you go get that? John needs to go get a new battery. I'll take over for a minute. John's mic is coming and going, so... It's making scratchy sounds, people are saying. So anyway, so yeah, we were just talking about the United Race Designs. Let me use this so I can transition here for us while I wait for John. So yeah, we're curious what you guys think about paying for mods. And again, as long as it's quality content and they're not breaching any licensing agreements, I think it's okay.
Hold down the fort.
I think so.
Okay.
I just continued talking about.
Perfect. Well, we've had this before.
So we got that's better. Rest in peace, headphones users.
Oh yeah, I'm really sorry. R.I.P. headphone.
We apologize for the technical difficulties. Now back to our regularly scheduled program. So next up, we're going to talk about there's some more Project Cars Stanceworks previews that came out this week. And so there's a 2002 Group 2-like bodywork Let's see what else it's got. That 2002's got a 260 horsepower, 8,000 RPM BMW M12 under the hood, and these look pretty awesome. And then there's also the BMW 1M. Is that 1M or M1?
It's 1M because they had the M1 was one of their I believe it was the first M car. So to not step on those toes, they call it the 1M.
Gotcha.
So it's kind of goofy.
So anyway, there's two new cars that they've been teasing. They look pretty awesome.
They do.
It made you miss your old BMW, didn't it?
Yeah, I had a 95 E36 Daytona Violet M3, and this kind of gives me some fond wishes of being back in the BMW. But yeah, I originally wasn't very excited about these cars when I first heard about it, 'cause it's kind of I don't really want modded road cars. But now that I see them and kind of heard a little bit of the backstory, I'm actually kind of excited about these.
Yeah, they look pretty cool.
Yeah, no, they look good, and I'm excited. I'm excited to see how they drive.
Me too. So let's see, what do we got next? Few things from Assetto Corsa from the Kunos guys.
Yeah.
So today they announced that the console versions are going to land on April 22nd. We got a little teaser trailer here for you guys, and I think we talked about it last week that we thought it might come around E3.
Yes.
Or that they do a preview at E3. So we got two big launches that month, this and Dirt Rally on the consoles. So anyway, and there's the Ferrari FXXK.
Such Ferrari in their names.
Yeah, that's like the F word.
Yeah, that's what it looks like to me. So
with a couple of the words with characters in the middle. Or a couple of the letters, I should say. Oh,
and I cut it off. Actually, let me go back to that real quick, because I cut it off there at the end. And interesting enough, they have a pre-order pack that includes those cars, which you didn't quite get a chance to see that. That was the Chevy Corvette, which is coming as a free car, and we found out about that, I think, the last day of 2015. And then it had the Ferrari 488 GTB, which is a replacement for the Ferrari 458. It's a road-going car. That's brand new. And then they have the Audi R10, or V10, R10, V10, I don't remember, street car. And R8, I'm sorry, R8 with a V10 engine.
R8 V10.
That's right. And that was in there, and that was interesting.
Isn't that the car that guy from Top Gear just got sick in?
Yeah, he got
Sabine.
Yes, he got
Schwartz or whatever her name is driving.
Yeah, he got sick in the new version of that car. But yeah, no, same car. And the interesting thing is that was released back in the fall in the PC as free content, and now to get it in the console, you have to pre-order. So this is kind of the beginning of, I don't know. I mean, there was a lot of concern, I feel like, around Assetto Corsa in the console. We're not concerned about physics.
No.
I don't think that a lot of people are concerned they're going to dumb it down. I think not legitimate. Maybe I don't know if legitimate concern is the right word, but I think what I'll be interested to see is what cars come with the console and what comes as DLC, and how is that the same, and how does that differ from the PC?
Well, and Aristoteles, who we're going to talk about in a minute, who did this real life drive and virtual drive, I saw a quote from him on Facebook as they were announcing the launch of this, or the release date. Everything on console will be available on the PC by bonus or DLC pack as usual. Okay. So it sounds like you and I were talking about this before we went live, about how they should, like Project Cars, it's the same. Mm-hmm. Same base content, same DLC content.
Yes.
Same bonus content if they came out with anything. So, I think Assetto Corsa should, so they don't piss off either side, console or PC, have the exact same stuff available.
Yeah, and I'm hoping they kind of get more in lockstep once they're both out. That's one thing that's nice. In Project Cars, they all came out at the same time, so they're able to release on everything.
Right.
Where there's this awkward 2-year difference now? Over 2-year difference.
Yeah,
So,
if you go back to the early access.
yeah, early access, yeah, over 2 years. So yeah, there's this kind of big difference that they're trying to battle with.
I personally think it should be everything. So everything on the console should be all the base content and bonus that's been released on the PC, and then all the dream packs should be available for DLC.
Sure.
Maybe right at launch.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's my take on it.
But I will say one, we did get, I don't remember his name, it was at our website who commented on the story, made a good point, was that the PC copy costs, what, $30 at most?
And it's had some deals,
and it's
too.
had some deals.
Like 50% off.
Yeah, so the base content's pretty cheap. And then you add the DLCs, you're maybe at $60 or $70 for a console game. So to some degree, it's a bit of a wash if you think of it from that route. So
if the DLC's included.
If the DLC's included, exactly.
Which it doesn't sound like it's
exactly.
going to be. But you know what else, too? You got to look at the console. You have a lot more licensing. They right now, so on the PC, they didn't involve 505 games. So 505 games has to take a piece of that pie. And then the licensing on, I don't know if I would imagine they have to pay a little bit to Sony and Microsoft.
I would imagine.
To sell those games on their consoles, because they're not going to make any money otherwise.
Exactly.
Sony and Microsoft.
Yes.
So, anyway, yeah, Wim, you just commented 292. We just peaked over 300 briefly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, at a moment, for a second, we were talking, I saw 303, so we've set a record now, which we're very happy to see. Thank you guys for joining us and being part of the show, and it's great to see that we're just kind of growing every week. We're getting just a few more viewers every week to join us.
Yes. Oh, and since I saw Wim jumped in, I made him a moderator.
Oh, Wim, you're a moderator, so if you see any jackass activity, please just ban the person.
Yes, ban, no warnings.
If you don't mind, we'd appreciate it.
Okay, where are we at now? And then the other Assetto Corsa piece of news, which is pretty cool. This was released yesterday, and this was from Eris?
Yes. Aristoteles is his full name, but he goes by Eris. And Eris is at the wheel of this car. It's an Alfa Romeo 4C at the Modena circuit. And he is driving it like he stole it. He's
driving,
drifting it.
He's driving really well. And what struck me in this, and like I said in the blog post, there's a bazillion comparison videos, but the inputs in the real world versus digital are very similar. I mean, there's a couple times where there's a slight difference, but it just seems like the car is reacting the same in both. I mean, even there, the wheel turned at the exact same time. And it's just probably one of the closest one-to-one I've seen in terms of inputs.
Great. They did a great job. So this is Surreal Car is the YouTube channel that posted this. They did a great job of matching up camera angles, too. I'm wondering if they did custom cameras or they mounted cameras in the same locations that had Assetto Corsa cameras, but man, Eris is wheeling that thing.
He is.
So it is really cool. You know what? Talk about a dream job.
Yeah.
I mean, so he's driving this. Imagine all the other really cool cars he's got to drive on track. You know what I was thinking as I was watching this too? I was wondering, have they ever wrecked a car that they've been testing to put in the game? You know, and I'm sure I haven't ever heard anything, but imagine if they like wrecked one of these cars that Alfa Romeo or Ferrari is letting them drive.
Yeah. No,
that'd be crazy.
That would be, normally, I know there was one of the editors for, I think the editor-in-chief at Jalopnik. He got invited to Detroit last year to sample the new Camaro, the new 2016 Camaro, when it was all covered in camouflage, and he drove it around the IndyCar circuit there at Belle Isle. He was long talking and went, crashed, killed the car, killed the right side.
As a prototype?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And then so it cuts. He's standing outside going, oh my God, it's crashed a car. And then next they cut and he's outside and he's like, well, they asked me to leave. I'm really, really sorry, GM. So they kicked him out, and I don't know when he's going to get invited back to go and test cars. So they don't take kindly if you wreck a car.
I can imagine. I mean, that's pretty major. You know what? Somebody was just asking, are we going to host a session? Yeah, we're hosting. If you guys are just coming in, Stay tuned until the end of the show, or actually just log into iRacing. We're going to be hosting a Daytona 24-hour practice. I'm just checking right now if iRacing's back up and running. Looks like it is, yes. So anyway, the server name is going to be ISRTV 24 practice. It's going to go live here in about a half an hour. I got like 50 pit stalls, so
Perfect.
50 of you guys could join us, or actually 47.
Would be real funny if so many people join, we can't.
That would be funny. Yeah, don't let us join our own server, guys. But anyway, we'd love for you to join us. We're going to be practicing for the 24 hours of Daytona. So yeah, if you just joined us, we'll talk about it again at the end of the show. So anyway,
I think we're on to poll.
Yeah, so
again.
let's see.
Let's circle back around.
See if we've got some. Oh, and I had it up. So let's see what kind of participation we got.
Okay, so I can't read. You gotta.
I'll pull it up here. Oh, we got a few more people. So basically the question was, are you all in on VR? So are you going to be purchasing VR, or already purchased it or pre-ordered it? Yes or no, or are you at a wait and see? So we had 7 people say yes, 4 people say no, and 16 people are on the wait and see list.
And where are you at?
So I said no, and part of that reason is, I guess I'm on a wait and see as well. So I'm kind of in between. I mean, when it first launches, am I all in? No. But I'm also like on a wait and see situation to see where it goes. I mean, I just bought 3 BenQ 27-inch monitors, so I'm not in a big hurry to spend another $600-something to go the VR route, which would also limit me as far as the titles that I could run. I mean, I guess I could switch back and forth between my triples. I love triple screens, and with these 27s now, I'm really loving it. So I'd say it's going to be difficult for me to make that transition. But I know a lot of people are all for it, and I think Avenge's a proponent of VR. Gamer Muscle, he loves VR.
He loves VR.
And there's a lot of great things to it. You haven't tried it yet.
Nope, I haven't tried it. So
where are you?
I'm on the wait and see. Because I haven't tried it. I don't know. I was really excited about it when it first came out. I've become I've cooled off a little bit on it, just from what I've read. And I have read a lot of people saying this is the best thing ever, but some of the other negative things I've read. So I'm gonna wait and see. So I hope we get to try it out here sometime this year. At least one of the headsets is gonna be a couple of good ones. So and getting back to poll question, because that's this week's poll question, and this will be up all week. And then we have the results from last week's poll. And the question was, do you use antivirus on your rig? And the results were interesting. We had 44 people vote yes and 20 people vote no. So that's 79% for yes, 31% for no. And, we talked about it yesterday. You never ran it.
No.
Or not yesterday, last week. You never ran it. I ran it up until we ran into that little issue with Assetto Corsa not launching. So I voted no. But it looks like the vast majority of people still run it.
Yeah, that was. I was surprised, actually, because so when I first started sim racing, antivirus could tax your system. It could, in the middle of a race, may do something funky and boot you out of the race. So I just never wanted to take that chance. I mean, systems are a lot more powerful right now, and I'm sure antivirus programs aren't as much of a resource hog. So yeah, it was interesting to see that the majority, almost 80%, use antivirus. So anyway, that was a cool poll.
Yep.
So what you said 79%, but 31% no. That doesn't add up.
Oh,
Must have been 21%
no, it
no.
was 60. That's right. I wrote it wrong. It was 69% yes.
Oh, okay.
31% no.
Okay.
That's right.
So yeah, 70%.
Yeah, I was reading that. I was like, these numbers don't seem right, but I just kept rolling. So, but yeah, so that's cool. And then that kind of rolls. Well, not that, but if you might have saw that we released a video on Monday talking about different graphic settings for the GTX 970. It was essentially a review. EVGA sent us a card, and got to run it in 8 sims and kind of do a benchmarking, which was fun.
I think it was less of a review and more of like a benchmarking.
It was more of a benchmark, because I mean, the benchmarking tells the tale of the card. You know, I could have got into the cooler and how quiet it is and blah, 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 but people just want to know
Well,
horsepower.
we're not Linus Tech Tips or J2 I mean,
Yeah.
we're not experts when it comes to, you know, PC hardware. We
Yes.
know our fair share, you know, and we can build our own PCs and all that stuff, but as far as being a tech guru when it comes to that stuff, sure, we're tech gurus when it comes to sim racing hardware.
Yes.
But when it comes to PCs, we don't know everything. So we didn't want to, you know, John actually did that piece, and he didn't want to come across like, this is, you know, cut and dry, this is the way it is, and, you know, this is my review.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm glad he went that route, and so it was more of a benchmark. I thought you did a great job on it, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
It was a cool piece.
No, I'm happy how that turned out. It was, so someone on YouTube, I appreciate their comment. They're like, that looked like that was a lot of editing. Good job. And I was like, yes, it was.
Thank you for noticing that.
It was a lot of editing, and it was a lot of testing.
Yeah,
So-
those types of pieces, like we did the Xbox One and PS4 buyer's guides. You know, this portion of it was really easy because we're basically just going over specs.
Yeah.
It's the editing and with all the graphics and stuff, man. Those were a lot of work. Those shows.
Yeah.
And I don't know if people really understand how much time we spend on post-production.
Yes.
You know, that's why this show is actually really easy for us. We get it together, what we're going to talk about, we
Yep.
put it in our you know, an XSplit, we talk about it, we're done.
Yeah.
We film and we're done. Where our other shows, you know, we pride ourselves on the quality, and we put a lot of work in them. Not to toot our own horns, but it's a lot have work.
Yeah.
As you know now.
Yeah, no, I mean, you guys, if you join us on a live show, you know that we have a lot of ideas for videos and try to get them out as fast as possible, but unfortunately, like, I spent probably a week on that video, so sometimes it just takes time, but again, I hope you enjoyed it. It looks like the feedback was pretty positive. Hopefully we can do more of those. Not only because I love to get more graphics cards in here.
Yeah, well, and we had a lot of people commenting, EVGA, come on, send these guys a 980.
Yeah.
By the way, if we get that, I get that card.
So we would love some more graphics cards, but I think it's a really interesting topic, and we all talk about it. I mean, for sim racing on the PC, it's all something we have to deal with.
Yes,
So I think
for sure.
I think it's definitely a cool topic.
By the way, we got Stephen O'Sullivan was the guy that commented on your editing.
Ah.
So you can thank Stephen. He's here in chat with us.
Thank you, Steven. Oh, and real quick, before we jump into what we're kind of leading into, I saw this post a couple times. Andrea Vigoni said that, hey guys, I'm an Italian YouTuber who tried in Milan a beta of the PS4 version of AC, said that it's going to be almost identical to the PC version regarding level simulation. So, yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I don't know. It's more work to dumb it down. It's just,
You would think.
it's like, I don't understand, especially for wheel controls. I could see doing something with the gamepad because you kind of gotta massage that a little bit because it's not a wheel.
Yes.
But besides that, just run it how it is. But anyway, getting back to where we're getting at with the talking about that review or benchmark is our tech tip. And let me close this out. Let me open that up and play this. Had some people ask about my iRacing settings because I actually set the anti-aliasing in the Nvidia control panel. And I'm sure there's a fair amount of you guys who are familiar with the control panel out there. But if you're a little new to sim racing or PC gaming in general, you can do essentially the same adjustments in the control panel either across your entire PC, or you can go into individual game settings. And I think right now, looking at the video, I'm in my global settings playing around and changing things. And I believe at some point here, I jump into the program settings. Here it is. And you can see on the drop down there, you have iRacing and you have a whole bunch of my games here. And you can go and select the individual program and say what settings you want for it. And the big thing with iRacing I was doing is I was selecting the override option where all the settings were controlled by Nvidia and taken away from iRacing. And I did that because I ended up getting more frame rates going that route than running it in-game. You know, that was the only title to do that. Everything else, it was either the same frame rates or slightly better to set all those settings in the game. So that's a quick tech tip just in case you didn't know that was an option. AMD has a similar thing, even though it was less user-friendly when I was on AMD card, even though I know they just came out with a new version of their software. Oops. I guess I should get off the video that's not doing anything.
Did it stop on you?
Yeah, I think it stopped and just pause.
Another thing, too, that I wanted to add to this, too, for the guys that really want to get the most out of their card, and again, we're not experts.
No.
I wanted to ask you, too, and I'll get to that in a second. There's another program called Nvidia Inspector that really, it's like an I&I editor, really lets you tweak all sorts of stuff as far as performance goes with Nvidia cards. So the other thing I wanted to ask you was, did you see a visual quality difference on your iRacing settings? So using the in-game versus the control panel settings.
I did not this time around, but when my previous card was an AMD R9 285, and some people actually asked if we could go and benchmark maybe an older card, and I'm somewhat tempted besides just the amount of work, but it'd be interesting to see how that performs. But in that card, I had to run iRacing and GameStop car. I mean, essentially, maybe it was all the DX9 titles. I had to run them out of the AMD global settings, because if I was to run anti-aliasing and anti-tropic filtering, that's it.
Sounds good to me.
If I ran those in-game in iRacing on an AMD card, all the textures would be blurry. They wouldn't be as crisp if I set it in AMD. I didn't notice that with Nvidia, but no, that can certainly be the case.
I had a feeling Wim would know about that. There are some great inspector settings for AA. So again, that's how you really get the most out of your card. And you and I were talking about this before the show too. We don't even mess with that stuff.
I used to mess with it a lot, and it just took so long. I didn't feel like I was gaining much.
You need to have a lot of patience and do a lot of Google is your friend when it comes to that stuff.
Yes.
And it varies from game to game. You know, one game settings may perform great, and another game they don't. You know, and like for your card piece where you're benchmarking DX9, DX11, there's so many different variables that get thrown into that mix. Your video card, there's so many different video cards out.
Sure.
That anyway, it takes a lot of patience, and you need to learn what you're doing. So anyway,
at the end of the day, just get a badass card.
Yeah.
Just spend all the money.
The faster, the better.
So, I believe that kind of wraps it up for all our planned portion of the show, including the unplanned mic going out.
Well, we were going to talk about what we're doing this week.
That's right.
So, we have a Sebastian Loeb. Speaking of which, I'm going to say Loeb from now on because that's how we pronounce it here in the States. And when you play the game, the American English speaking commentator in game calls him Sebastian Loeb.
Yeah.
So we may not pronounce it the same as some of you overseas, but that's how we pronounce it. So anyway, I did a test drive in Sebastian Loeb this week. We got some footage of it, don't we?
Nope.
What?
I just realized I forgot to load it.
Oh, John. Shame on you.
Darn. I was looking and I was like, I don't
Do we have it on the PC?
It's
we could add it?
It's on the PC. Let me see if I can add it. So let's see here.
We don't want to add it to something that's got too much content on it.
I know.
Else we may blow it up. John's going to try to work on the fly here, see if we can add that video for us.
Stall.
I'll stall for us. So anyway, so someone was just asking when's the PC demo coming. I think there's a demo for the consoles out right now. So anyway, John, I think he's got it.
I think I do. Let me
turn the volume down on it.
Mute the volume just in case. Okay.
Did you mute it?
Huh? Yep, I muted it.
Oh, good.
Okay, let me close this.
I think you can just you can launch it from here. Go live, right there.
Ha!
There we go.
There we go. Oh man, once in a while.
That?
Oh, it's the entire.
Oh, that's the. Oh,
it's the entire show.
Let's go fast forward. Yeah, we don't need
there we go.
So this was called the Loeb Experience, which was based in 1998, 1999. front-wheel drive, Citroen.
I believe it's Citroen.
So I was driving it with the Thrustmaster TX. On my, actually, I basically stretched some cords over to my PC because this title takes some heavy-duty PC graphics card.
It does, surprisingly.
Yeah, the system that we're actually broadcasting from struggled to run this title. So anyway, just wanted to show you guys that we did a test drive. I should have that test drive. It's already up on YouTube. I've been waiting to hear back from Milestone if it was okay to launch it, but just wanted to show you guys some footage of me driving it. And someone said Citron.
Oh, yeah, that sounds about right.
So anyway, yeah, this is going to be, I think it's available January 29th. Is that when this comes out?
I believe that is correct.
So there's the other stage. That first stage was dark in some sections, like in the forest.
So this is very bright.
Comparing to the other one.
Oh man, all hands and shoulders going around that corner.
Citroen. So we're getting all sorts of feedback on how to properly pronounce Citroen. Citroen. That's what Wim just said.
I like that.
Citron in the UK, like it matters. Citroen.
Well, every week when it comes to pronunciation, we found that most part people say different in all countries.
Yes.
So, yep. So that will be coming out soon.
Yes.
As in probably today or.
I should hopefully have that out. Yeah, I'm going to have that up today, later on today, after we do some practice.
That's right.
So yeah, so speaking of practice, we've been testing for the 24 Hours of Daytona.
I do have
John's
that.
got some footage of that.
I do have that footage.
So here's me running with my new BenQs.
Running in the dark.
So yeah, just give you guys a little benchmark as far as lap times go, and I'm not setting the world on fire with my lap times. I've been able to hit like a 38, mid 38 or 138 or so with the C7, the Corvette Daytona prototype.
Which you really like that car.
I do. I'm really enjoying driving this, and because I have so many miles on the Riley at this track, Pontiac Riley, and it's very similar.
Yes.
So
this is interesting. The previous view is when you had your triple rendering enabled, and then here I think you had it turned off. So your cockpit's all kind of stretched on you.
Yeah, render each screen separately.
That's it.
Yeah, it hurts frame rates, but definitely gives you a better perspective. So how are you liking this combo?
I'm liking it. It has, I was a little late to the game. I haven't been able to do as much practice. I ended up switching.
Speaking of which, here's you in the bat.
That's right. I ended up switching my pedals out.
Your fancy ass gloves.
Fancy ass gloves. So got the Fanatic V3s in there with that brake mod, which still waiting on an official announcement on that. I don't think there's been one yet.
For Fanatic?
For Fanatic, yeah. Because that makes all the difference in the world. That is a huge difference. But yeah, no, I mean, doing okay. This was kind of last night. This was the first time I was able to kind of really get up to speed and start to run some laps in the mid 39s. So definitely more time, and I just need more practice.
Yeah, I've got probably 100 more laps than you this time around, and probably many more. Did you ever drive really the Riley in races?
Yeah, 2010-11, it was my go-to car there for a while.
Oh, okay.
So I have a fair amount of experience with it, but I mean, it's been so long.
When I ran at least 2, maybe 3, 2.4 hours of Daytona in that car. So yeah, I've run it a ton, and I love the new C7. So anyway, just to remind you guys again, after the show, or actually in 10 minutes, our server's going to launch. So go into iRacing, go into the hosted section, join a hosted race, and it's going to be ISRTV 24 practice. Password will be isrtv.com, all lowercase. So anyway, hopefully you guys can join us for some practice post-show. By the way, we've been over 300 now for a while. So
I see.
I'm really stoked on that.
We're doing well. Let's not say anything dumb.
So speaking of which, let's get speaking to the 300 and talking about the practice, let's get on with some Q&A.
Let's.
So we can get over to that practice. Had some great questions pre-show.
Yes.
So this first one from Paul Smith. Where did this one come from?
This one was from last week's show post on our website. He posted in comments because he said he couldn't make it this week.
Okay. So he's asking, I was wondering if we could research a moment and include in your Q&A if there are options to connect an ECCI pedal set to the AccuForce wheel with an adapter cable to the analog input, or possible USB standalone without having to buy their entire conversion kit that makes you change out all the pots on the pedals. You know, I don't know. The guys at Sim Experience sent me an adapter to plug in T500 pedals or T3PA pedals. And actually, if you go into our forums, all the pinout information is in there. But whether or not you could, directly wire the old ECCI pedals into that, I honestly don't know. Wish we could answer your question here, Paul. I would think it's possible, but I don't know. You got something funny?
Huh? Oh, it's Time Runner 3R414. We only mess with you, John, because you're the best. I don't even know what you guys. I didn't see what you guys are saying, but it's okay. I'm totally okay being made fun of. Next up question. Caught this before the show.
It said, I hope John is wearing his fancy ass bat cape too.
Oh yeah, that was funny actually. I did chuckle at that. That is funny. Chris Barr asked, thinking about getting an Xbox and Forza Motorsport 6 plus a wheel, or an Nvidia 980 Ti for the PC. I'm a PC gamer, but really want to try Forza Motorsport 6. I loved 4 on the 360. What do you guys think? That's interesting. I mean, this is an interesting point. You can go buy an Xbox One, a Thrustmaster TX or whatever, a T150 at the very least, and...
Well, not a T150, not for Xbox.
Oh, I'm sorry, not for Xbox.
No, but you can get that whole package.
You can get the whhole package for the same price as a 980 Ti.
Yeah.
How crazy is that?
So which one would you take? I know I already have both, so it's kind of, I guess I'm a little... I wouldn't say I'm biased, but...
My question would be, what graphics card do you currently have? Because a 980 Ti would be awesome, but...
And what are you trying to run with it?
Yeah, what are you trying to do with it? But I mean, I can definitely see the point of getting an Xbox and Forza Motorsport 6 and a wheel for it, whatever that is.
And when I say what are you trying to run, are you running single monitor or triples? Because if you're just running a single monitor, that 970...
970 will get the job done.
Yeah, it gets the job done. But if you're running triples and you really want to do some hardcore sim racing, I mean, honestly, you're going to, depending on what you currently have, I would think you're going to get more. I would go with the 980 Ti. I would think you're going to get more out of that. If you're just buying that Xbox just to run Forza 6, which is a lot of fun. Yeah, you need the wheel and pedal set, which you can run on the PC as well.
Okay. So Chris came back and says he has a 970 now.
Single monitor or triples?
Yep, that's the next question.
Chris, go ahead and answer us in chat. You got a single or triple monitors?
If you have single, I would say no. If you have triple, then I would say yes. To the 980 Ti. I think that's what I would
Someone's saying that a 980 is so much overkill right now unless you're running something like 4K 3 monitors. I disagree with that.
No, I disagree.
Because, I'm running again, it depends on what you're running, but running triples, iRacing at night at Daytona, and I have a 780 GTX Ti, which isn't that dated.
Yeah.
I mean, it was top of the line, 2 years ago? Mm-hmm. I have to turn a bunch of stuff up, and I like to maintain a super high frame rate to take advantage of the 144 hertz. I mean, if you just want to run 60 frames a second, then sure, a 980 is maybe a little bit overkill, but...
So Chris said he has one ultra-wide monitor. So I would just stick with a 970.
I would too.
With one monitor. If you're planning on upgrading to triple, especially triple ultra-wide, which is what I'm facing, a 970, I can race most things. I just, like you saw that iRacing footage, I was racing in the 200 frame rates for the most part, but I had, everything turned off. So I was running...
And that's what I was running, too.
Yeah, I had all the shaders turned off. I had an anti-aliasing up at 8 or 16, so that wasn't bad. So it's crisp. I just don't have the shadows. So yeah, if you're just planning on staying on one, I would say stick with the 970, and then you can go buy the Xbox One and Forza. And if you're looking to go to triples, then I would say go to 980 Ti.
Wim commented that 2 times 970 is fun, but will make you lose your hair.
Well, I could imagine, because it's SLI, and SLI is just SLI is SLI. It's a lot of work.
Well, it can be if it's not supported.
Yes.
You're talking about NVIDIA Inspector. There's a lot of tweaks in NVIDIA Inspector that you can use to get SLI to run properly. But the game has to be programmed. The title has to be programmed to take advantage of it, or it's pretty much worthless. I used to run 580s in SLI, and I had to run triples. Man, we are setting records. We keep going up. 328 watching now.
We are. And this is an interesting point. This is why this stuff is all kind of there's no clear answer because it so much depends on all the components. The rest of your PC, what you're running, because Marcus Daniel Vozier Felisberto. Oh man, I'm sorry.
What a name!
That's a hell of a name. He said he had an R9 270X and could run 3 screens. So
no, he's asking a question.
He's asking a question.
Could run 3 screens.
I don't think so because my 285, I could run my 3 1920 by 1080 monitors at fair settings. I would say I could do it. It couldn't handle the ultra wides when I got more resolution, which essentially 3 ultra wides is the same as 4 1920 by 1080s. So getting a 4th monitor, my 285 couldn't handle it. So I would say a 270 would not run it. It just wouldn't run it.
So this is, man, talk about opening up a can of worms here.
Yeah.
So many people commenting on this particular topic. Some's like, "Oh, I'm running. It's running fine, and I'm at 60 frames a second." Here it is. Oh no, that's a different comment. Oh, here it is. I agree, Darren. I upgraded to a 980 Ti from a 780 Ti on triples, and I still need more GPU to max everything and hit solid 60 frames a second.
Wow.
See, honestly, I personally don't like running at 60 frames.
Yes.
In iRacing especially, because you need to really be running over 120, in my opinion, for everything to be super fluid. We keep talking about my friend Scott. Mm-hmm. Scott was running on a laptop, and now has transitioned to the same monitors I have, triple screen with a pretty decent PC running a 980, and he's just been blown away at how much more fluid everything is, as far as his frame rates and how everything's happening on screen.
Yes.
Anyway,
so make a poll about this.
It's actually a great idea.
That's a good idea. Well, and something else that I read this on the iRacing hardware forums, I think yesterday, and we talked about it a little bit before the show, is there was a conversation going about people running iRacing in particular, a DX9 title, better with like a 780 Ti.
You and I were talking about
that. Than a 900 series card. And I mean, watching you and then seeing what I'm getting, I think you might be getting better performance out of your 980 or 780 Ti than my 970, even though if you look at benchmarks from like the big people who do benchmarks, the Linuses and J2 Sense, with modern games, my card does a little better. My card's supposed to be a step up.
Right.
A little bit, not a lot, but then I think you run better in iRacing than I do, probably because your card can handle DX9 better than my card, which is more focused towards DX11 and 12.
It makes sense. I mean, DX9 is dated. It's been around for a long time.
Yes.
And, it makes sense that, what the heck? Sorry. It makes sense. There's a comment. It makes sense that an older card would handle DX9 better because the newer cards are built more for DX11. And that was just my theory. I don't have any proof, but yeah, it seems like I'm running just as good or a little better than you.
Yes.
On my 780. And, well, I do have a better processor too.
Yes.
I have a more current processor.
Yes.
As far as I have an i5 4690K.
And that can make a little more of a difference in iRacing in particular.
Yes, exactly.
So yeah, no, it's all really good. I mean, I'm glad we're having this discussion, and you kind of see there's really no black and white answer.
Yep.
It's all kind of nuanced.
All right, so let's get our servers launched, and we'll talk about that again in a minute because I'd like to get through some of these questions and then wrap things up and then go meet some of you guys on track.
Yeah, we do want to drive.
Holly Carb asked, by the way, Holly Carb, I think, won a human racing chassis from us a long time ago.
Oh, really? Cool.
And I've met him in person. We were in California. Anyway, okay, Darren and John, in your opinion, what is the game of the year and why? Great question, by the way.
We're assuming you're talking about 2015.
Yes.
And Dirt Rally.
Yeah, I think that was the surprise of the year, and I would say pretty much every other title was out before 2015.
Yes.
In some form or another. But yeah, my opinion would be Dirt Rally, too.
Yeah.
Oh, when I asked you earlier, I had Dirt Rally in my head, and you said Dirt Rally, and I was like, man, great minds.
That's right.
So anyway, great question. Thanks for asking that, Holly Carb. By the way, I can't for the life of me remember. I got like old man syndrome, man. I forget names and all sorts of stuff now.
You want me to take this next one?
Yeah.
DH Paradox 74 asks a very good question. Do racing games like iRacing make use of multi-core CPUs? I hear most games only use up to 2 cores. So I believe you're right. And I can't remember if the number is 2 or 4, but one of those is kind of the traditional number. I do know that F1 2015, there's an update that came out in the fall. And in the update, they said that they now take advantage of like 6 and 8 core processors, which I think are the very, very, very high-end Intel processors, and then AMD runs more cores. So,
and we were talking about the system that this show is running on is an older 6-core. I think I got it in like 2011 or so, 2010 or 11. So I've had it for a while. But so yeah, so you go back to what you were saying. So I think Codemasters is one of the only.
I think they're one of the only ones. I think everyone else, it's either 2 cores or 4. And if someone does know, correct me. Because like I said, I know there's a standard, and I think you might be right that it is 2 cores, not chords. And part of me was thinking maybe it was 4. But no, I do believe you're right that most games are limited on cores. And like I said, F1 2015 is the only one I know for sure that is. Maybe Dirt Rally is as well. But when I saw that, that was kind of a little bit of a, an aberration. It's like, oh, that's new. You don't see that very often talked about. So yeah, but if anyone knows any else or knows a number of cores used for a particular title, let us know in chat.
That would be great. Go ahead and take the next one too, because I'm going to see if our hosted race is up.
Okay.
It is. Our hosted race is up. There are 2 people in the session.
They're waiting for the show to end.
Yeah. So we will if you're listening and you're in that session, we will be joining you soon.
Yes.
So again, it's ISRTV 24 practice. Password is isrtv.com, all lowercase.
Perfect. Andrew Yates asks, what are your skills? Does both John and Darren do the video editing? Who does the web design and development too? I mean, skills, we do the video editing. I knew no video editing showing up here, what, 4 or 5 months now? I knew nothing. So it was all Darren showing me.
5 months.
I mean, pretty much, you probably showed me 90% of it.
Yeah, and you're a quick learner. You picked up a lot of it on your own too.
Yeah, and there's been a few things I've gone and looked online to figure some things out, and there's a pretty good PDF instructions. But no, we do all the editing.
We share the load, to answer your question. On the website end, we have somebody that does all of our web development. We do all the blogging, and we keep up the forum.
Yes.
I updated the forums recently and what's the word I'm looking for? Old man brain farting.
Reconfigure,
reskinned it.
Reskinned it, yeah.
So yeah, I keep on I do most of that, and then we do all the moderating. But as far as the website design goes, that's outside contractor, and pretty much always has been.
Oh, by the way, we didn't talk about that.
Oh, we can talk about this really quick before we go. So, got this from somebody, speaking of forums, somebody in our forum sent me this. And I'd like you guys to try to guess what this is. I'm going to hold it up closer to the camera here. This is one part of it.
Yeah, it's in focus.
And this is another part of it. So what do you guys think this is? It took me, I had to go back and look in my forum inbox to see what the heck it was. But what do you guys think that is? We're going to be checking it out soon here on the show. Got this week. And like to thank, guy's name is Jesse from Canada for sending it to us to check it out.
How about we do a couple more questions and see what people...
Yeah, let's...
Yes.
Do you have some more questions?
Yeah, I got some more. And someone, I missed the name here, but someone's just asking, are we going to stream the session we're about to do? We're not going to stream it. And we're not planning on doing any live streaming for the 24 hours this weekend. Want to just focus on that because that's so much pressure and so hard, and it's coordination. There's 5 of us running it.
We're going to film a lot of it.
But we are going to film it, though. That's why I had that filming from earlier in the week. We're kind of filming as we go, so we can kind of... We're gonna do an episode on it.
Hold on, we got 2 people that got it right.
Oh, impressive.
Battle Gear and DH Paradox, correct. Actually, Mark McQuillan, sorry. It's a brake mod. Let's hold this up again. This is a brake mod for, you got the pedals?
Yep.
For the TX pedals. So this piece.
Let me go.
Yeah. This piece will mount right here. Or no, like this.
Yes.
And then this piece sits down in here.
There you go. That's how it goes.
So it's a 3D printed brake mod for the base Thrustmaster pedals.
Yeah.
So we haven't tried it yet, but interesting design. We're a little concerned about, I mean, it seems pliable enough that I don't think it's going to break down over time.
Yeah, we're a little bit concerned about some permanent bending happening or maybe some creasing.
Yeah.
But if that was a rubber piece, that would work really well.
It would be.
Or maybe, and also, well, here's an idea. Maybe you have the 3D printed plastic, but then you have a rubber insert that goes inside of it. So that would keep it from collapsing.
That's a good idea.
So that could work, because that would hold it in place then.
Yeah.
Hell, we probably have rubber in here. We probably have something around here that we could cut up and put in there.
So anyway, we'll be checking that out later.
So many that's what she said innuendos.
So it wasn't an unboxing, it was a...
Unbagging.
Yeah.
Let's see. So, want me to go?
Yes.
Okay. Michael Smith asked a long time ago, what headset are you using, Darren?
In that piece?
Yes.
They're Logitech. I can't, hold on. I did a review of those. Let me see if I can bring up that model.
I use Logitech G930. I think you have G5s?
Well, here's the thing, too. I only use those for chat. I'm running a 5.1 surround sound system for my sounds. I only use those for chat. Hold on, I'm looking up our shows here. So I did a piece on it a long time ago. Of course, it didn't come out.
Someone also said that some silicone sealant in there would work well.
That's a good idea.
That's true as well.
G430s.
Okay.
Logitech G430s. We did a review of them, so you can check our channel for that. So yeah, I'm only using them for chat.
Do you like them?
Yeah, I love them.
Yeah, those are USB, right?
You can do USB. There's a USB, little mini USB sound card, or you can go direct into mini jacks.
Okay, gotcha.
So you can go either or. I'm using the sound card because I have 2 sound cards, one for my sound and one for SimVibe. Mm-hmm. So those are being used by my 5.1 and SimVibe, and then so I'm able to. What's great about iRacing too is you can have multiple sound sources.
Yes.
And so I have that Logitech just as my chat, and then what I love about that too is that when I put them on, it blocks out the car sounds. I can't hear shit if I'm trying to run the car sounds and hear chat. I can't hear a damn thing.
I was having that issue the other night because when we were all in the session, I could not hear you guys when I was anywhere on throttle. So I'm gonna have to boost it up, or do the same thing you do.
No, you do the same thing I do because we're not gonna be for the race.
We'll be at different times. Yeah. During practice, I mean, I don't want both of us going.
Well, I can turn my sounds down.
Yeah, that's true. I'll have to play with that, though.
So, any more questions? Speaking of practice, it's time to go practice.
It is. Let's see. I had Stephen Barton ask, are those the 1K gloves? Talking about my gloves. Those are the 1K karting gloves. So far, so good. Besides some of the rubber bits that's supposed to be a little more grip, those are starting to tear off, but it's kind of minor. And then...
Holy crap, there's 14 people in that practice session.
I know.
We better get in there soon, or we're not going to... You know, I might go join really quick so I can make that session.
Okay, well,
I guess we could always put up another one.
How about this? I have one more, and then we're good.
Okay.
So, a question from Nigel Benton. Great show. Looking for a rig that can be easily moved from the lounge when not in use, I believe. Playseat Evolution and Revolution and GT Omega Art look good candidates. Any thoughts on what might be best? So between Playseats, Evolution, Revolution, and then the GT Omega Art.
GT Omega Art for portability?
Yeah. Yeah, I would assume, because those play seats, those are the one with the center mounts?
Well, they also fold up, those play seats. So
okay.
those can get pretty portable.
Okay, gotcha.
I'd say either would be great. Even that play seat challenge, I think it is, it looks like a freaking beach chair.
Yeah.
The thing was surprisingly stable.
Yeah.
And that you can really fold up and put away. Or even the next level, you get like a next level stand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wheel stand, and those fold up and are stable. Especially we got a new next level stand that's got some more support.
Yeah.
It's even better than the one I reviewed. So
I will say though, I definitely do like the casters that are on the Arts.
I do too.
If you don't want to have to break stuff down and you have the space, and it's not even a very big rig, but if you have the space, you can easily.
Well, not only that, it breaks apart at the midsection.
It does.
So you can separate the seat and the front end.
Yep.
And then move them around that way. So yeah, it is a great option, especially if you don't have to go store it in a closet or something like that. It definitely works great.
Yeah, I want to see most rigs with wheels on them. Maybe wheels that you could take off the ground if you get to a spot and you can set it. That'd be cool. But I like having the wheels
Set it and
on.
forget it.
Set it and forget it.
That's our volleyball team name. By the way, we're playing volleyball once a week with John and I and a lot of my family members. Totally off subject.
It's the Ganji family plus John.
Exactly. Well, no, Isaiah.
Well,
Anthony's like married into the family.
Anthony's married in. Yeah, there's a guest boyfriend appearance as well.
So 16 people in that practice. So if you're wondering what we're talking about, we have an iRacing practice session up for the Daytona 24-hour race. It's going to be running for 6 hours. If you go into the hosted sessions, it's ISRTV 24 practice. Password is isrtv.com. Would love for you guys to join us. We're going to wrap things up here. Beat our record over 330, I think, was the peak today.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's great to see, and thank you guys for joining us today. We really appreciate it. Lots of fun today, as usual. Another question before we go?
Oh, just Time Runner said last week, Dallas Karting Complex is the track you were talking about. Yes, that is what I was talking about. That's a cool place. Bachelor party.
I wonder if it's close to Dallas?
Dallas, yeah, it's in Dallas. It's way out on the east side. Like from where we're going to be at, or it's probably a 40-minute drive, which isn't awful, but we're going to be pretty busy.
Yeah. We're talking about the iRace for Life seminar that's coming up. Speaking of which, I got to get back to Scion on that. He hit me up this week. So anyway, join us for practice. We'd love to run some laps with you guys. This will be our first post-show. Wim, get your butt out there. We want to see you on track, buddy. Anyway, this will be our first post-show sim racing experience, so that'll be fun.
It will be. You guys have been asking for it, and here we go, and we'll do more with other titles as we go. I know we'll probably do something with Raceroom, with a giveaway.
That'd be cool. That'd be a lot of fun. So anyway, thank you for joining us. We'd appreciate a thumbs up on this video. And for John Sable, I'm Darren Ganji. We'll see you guys next time.